USA. This is Emmary, and welcome to POWELLful Couple Journey, where we talk about immigration processes. If you are a J1 with 212E rule, home residency requirement. So, for those of you who know, I am a private school teacher here in Central Florida, and I was able to get my waiver through exceptional hardship with my US citizen spouse. It took me 2 years in order to get the waiver and be able to get the green card. So there are certain questions that our previous, our current teachers are facing, most especially that they wanted to really get their waiver. So one thing they said is, how can they able to transition from a J1 visa holder to getting a green card? Most especially since they are married already to their US citizen spouse. And one of them is saying that they had been a J1 and they're already been there for 3 years. So on their third year, they wanted to submit their J1 waiver, including their petition from their husband, and transition from there. Well, it's not advisable to transition your J1 immediately, not unless you get your extension. In my case, this was in the year 2021, so not a lot of visa sponsors are very strict when it comes to giving you the extension. However, there's already one visa sponsor that is adamant to give the extension for those that are planning to get married or planning to waive their J1. The reason for that is they wanted to really take hold of the J1 visa program, which is, of course, that's the teacher exchange cultural program, and they wanted to put that one into consideration as well as the visa sponsor. So one of the visa sponsor that I'm talking about is the EPI, and they don't want their J1 teachers to really get the waiver or planning to have a relationship or getting married to a US citizen. So it's really hard to tell if you would like to start on your third year. But if you are in your second year, that will be great because you still are on status. While on your fourth year, that's also good because you have 2 years once you extended already your DS 2019, which means you are really on status here in the US. Some are saying that they don't want to teach anymore and they just wanted to file their J1 and go with that route through an immigration lawyer. That is not really advisable. Why? Because it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a waiver once you have your US citizen spouse. We know that your husband will be your sponsor. Yes, it's true. But if you will be denied with your waiver and you were not able to get that, you still need to comply the 2 years. So better be safe than sorry. Make sure you have to submit that on your second year or your fourth year. If you wanted to know more about this one, then ask for free consultation from immigration lawyers. And we already have some J1 teachers that have their lawyers and they are expressing who they are through our Facebook group, J1 Waiver Helping Hands, and you will know who are their lawyers, and they're very happy to give the information. And I'm so thankful as well because they're sharing their ideas there. Some of them have already had their approved waiver, sharing their ideas, and now a green card holder. So it's our way of sharing our ideas to you. And I created that group. I am the admin of J1 Waiver Helping Hands through Facebook because we wanted to really share our ideas. If you wanted to do it yourself with the waiver, or if you would like to do it with an immigration. Now, I'm immigration lawyer. Now, here's the thing. I'm also posting in different sorts of social media accounts, like, for example, TikTok. And one of the J1 teachers says there, well, good for you because you have grounds for the waiver. I don't have any. So that's a sad part because if you don't have a US citizen child that has like at least a medical condition, like let's just say autism or any medical issues, or if you don't have a US citizen spouse of yours, then it's hard to get a J1 waiver through exceptional hardship. But if you have been to a school like a BIE school, which they are like focused on the Indian reservations and they are willing to sponsor you, then that will be great. So we still have J1 teachers that pursue their waiver. However, they are imposed with the 212 rule, so they have to go back to the home country just like the Philippines. And I even have one J1 teacher, and she said that the Philippines is the only country that she knows so far that doesn't issue an NOS. It's not true. They still issue the no objection statement, but it's really hard to get. It's like a humanitarian reason in order for you to get that, and it's so hard to point out what are the requirements, what are the things that you have to submit in order to get the no objection statement. But here's one thing, they changed this one um, during the pandemic, and they would like to impose that we are J1 teachers or we are J1 visa holders wanting to do the exchange cultural program, and they wanted to have that integrity of the program. That's why they are not allowing us to get the no objection statement anymore through our US citizen spouse or through our US citizen child. So with the J1 waiver process, it's hard to get. I'm telling you ahead of time, it's not easy to get. And the first thing you have to do, I'm so blessed because I have my US citizen spouse. So if you have your US citizen spouse, congratulations, because that's your way for you to have a grounds for waiver. Now, what in mind, J1 waiver. What are the things you have to do? First things first, are you in your second year as a J1? If yes, put that one as in your checklist, check. Are you in your fourth year and you're already extended with your J1 visa, which is you already have your DS 2019? If yes, then congratulations. Now that's the start for you. But if you are on your first year or third year, that's very crucial, especially if you are in your fifth year. That's also another thing. It's so hard to do that, but just stay still because some are forgiven when it comes to overstaying if you are married to your US citizen spouse. So that's another perk of having your partner, having your US citizen partner. So first thing that I did based on my experience from J1 to Greencard is submitting the form I-130, and that is through online. My husband helped me with that, and we put our evidences like marriage contract or marriage license, birth certificates, wedding photos, financial statement that we have, and joint bank accounts. That's the examples that we have. Then we move forward with submission of the Form I-612, which is the foreign waiver through the USCIS. So what you're going to do with that is you need to have the forms fill out. Then you have to have your statement of reason, which is full of evidences like letters from family, letters from friends, letters from co-workers, or if you are married to or within a church, then that's going to be letter from your pastor, which we did. Then you also have a psychological evaluation, which is very important because that's where the hardship comes from when it comes to mental and psychological needs of your US citizen spouse. Then medical letter if your spouse has like certain conditions, or let's just say um, he or she is visiting a doctor, then get that. That way, you could also put there that the insurance is really helping your spouse to get a free medication, or like lessen the cost of medication. So that's another thing too. And also make sure that you also put there the situation in your home country, just like the Philippines, where we have like high crime, high poverty, political dynasty, or something like that, that affects your way of living in the Philippines. If you have to relocate with your US citizen spouse, or if your US citizen spouse has to stay here in the US, do you have like credit card bills that you have to pay together, or any certain joint statements that you're paying? And once you have to be forced to go back to the home country, just like the Philippines, what are the hardships of your US citizen spouse? And employment. If your husband will be staying here in the US while you are unemployed in the Philippines, so it's going to be a hardship on your finances. So put that one into consideration. Those are the evidences. Every case is unique. Every case is going to be different. So if you would like to know our statement of reasons, it's available in powerfulcouplejourney.com, and you can have the checklist. That way you know what are the things you have to prepare. And then the things that you have to prepare as well is the Form I-485, Adjustment of Status, and your work permit, which is the I-765. If you wanted to have the travel document, that's the Form I-131, which is, of course, with the USCIS. Now, the one thing that is also needed is your DS 3035 through the Department of State. Why is the USCIS and the Department of State different? Now, here's the thing. With your J1, you have your SEVIs, that is your student visa number, something like that, with the Department of State. In order for the USCIS to give you the waiver, they will ask for an advisory opinion from a related department that will be helping them to decide if they're going to give you the waiver. And that department is a Department of State, the DOS. That's why the USCIS has the Form I-612, while the Department of State has the DS-3035. So which one has to be approved first? It should be the DS-3035. You're going to be waiting for a favorable recommendation. In order for you to do the favorable recommendation, just go to travel.state.gov, look at their DS-3035, and they're going to give you the online details. You're going to submit through online, and then they're going to give you a barcode, and then you're going to print that one, including your statement of reasons and your evidences, because that's going to be the thing. It's your case. It's unique to you. Act like a lawyer. Even though you have your own immigration lawyer, don't be so confident that you have your immigration lawyer. They're just there to help you, and they're just there to draft what are the evidences that they can put, and help you stack them in order to submit like packets. It's going to be a lot of information. Now, when is the time that you feel like, yes, my papers are on the roll? Especially if you see the light when it comes to your approval of your Form I-612. If you get a form from the USCIS that says case on hold, if you're gonna get a case on hold, they're asking for the opinion from the Department of State. You have to be very thankful. Why? Because they found a hardship on your case, which means they're just waiting for the Department of State to give their favorable recommendation before moving forward to give you the waiver. And the waiver is very important because even though you got approved with your petition, because the petition is a Form I-130. That's different. Even though you were approved with your petition and you didn't get the waiver, you're still gonna be denied with your adjustment of status. So the waiver is very important, especially if you have that stamp of 212E rule both on your visa and your DS 2019. So for those that have their visa sponsor, that some of them are like giving you grants, it's really hard to get or be approved with your waiver, not unless you have your papers. When you come here in the US, you have like spent for yourself, like self placement. It's easy to do that because you didn't ask for government funding. But once you have the government funding, it's really hard to get a waiver, especially for those that are Fulbright scholars. But this is most of the time, this is only applicable for those that are with medical um, students. So for J1 teachers, it's different. And there are also ways like O1 visa. You can also study about that one. Everything is already in the internet. The only thing that is not there is the statement of reason. But the statement of reason is unique to you. Make sure that you have those with all the information because the adjudicating officer will be the one reading your papers. And pray that your officer that's reading your case is really putting their effort as well to read your papers with the right mindset and with the heart to really give you that um, stay here waiver to green card. It's because let's just say the green card is really what we want, especially that we wanted to be with our spouse. And we don't have to be hypocrites. We wanted to help our family way back home, just like I'm from the Philippines, and we are really wanting to help our families too. And here in the US is what we call a greener pasture. So if that's what you're looking for, again, be strategic with your J1 waiver processing. It's not gonna be okay if you say, "Oh, I'm married to a U.S. citizen, so if I'm not gonna be uh, pursuing my teaching career, I have to stop on my third year." That's okay because I'm already submitting my waiver. It's not good. There's not a guarantee. I've been to an immigration lawyer with the one in Orlando. We paid the hourly consultation, and he said that it's not going to work. It's not going to work in my case because my husband, number one, has no medical condition or medical issues. Number two is we don't have that strong case. So I just asked him um, something that he knows about J1 waiver. So that right there, I was able to be compelled to do it myself because I told myself there is really something that my husband can offer. He already is seeing a psychologist before, and that right there is like mistrust or something that could help in our case. So what is the problem of your U.S. citizen spouse that is unique to his situation, and put that one into paper, where again, two things that you have to consider: hardship of your US citizen spouse if he has to stay here in America while you have to go back to the Philippines or your home country to fulfill the 2-year home residency requirement. And or both of you, US citizen spouse and the J1 has to relocate to the home country of the J1 visa holder to fulfill the 2-year home residency requirement. So, what are the hardships? Those are the two main things of hardship waiver, and it has to be exceptional, it has to be extreme, it has to be unique to your case, and think of the totality of circumstances. So, you're not going to be just getting, oh, just financial hardship, oh, just medical hardship. No, it has to be everything, which means you can point out financial hardship, employment hardship, um, financial, employment, medical hardship, psychological evaluation, like mistrust or something like that, language barrier, if he has to relocate to your home country, poverty, crime, safety of the US citizen to your home country. So put that one into consideration. There are a lot of arguments that you can put into your paper, but every arguments should have evidences, because without evidences, they're not gonna be liking that. They don't believe in you just through putting it into paper. They need some substantial evidences. So like for example, poverty. Look at articles in the year, let's just say 2000 or 2022. What are the poverty um, rate in the Philippines? What's the crime rate in the Philippines, especially with your hometown? What are the articles that you can find in the internet and online about that situation? So put them into paper is much better to overwhelm the USCIS and the Department of State rather than not having evidences at all. And always say thank you at the end of your sentence or at the end of your paragraphs, because they are also human beings. They also have that feeling. They also have that um, knowing that this is important to this person. I have to read this thoroughly, and I have to give my ideas about this one, but always think that they are not your friend. So what you're gonna do is give them the benefit of the doubt and give them that idea of, okay, they have hit all the points. I'm going to give them the waiver. And I'm telling you, once you get the waiver, it's going to be so awesome, because you know after that, you're going to have a green card. Some teachers got their waiver through a US citizen child. And you know what happens to that one? They're still going to be looking for an employer that will give them an H-1B visa, or let's just say an H-3B visa, that would give them a dual intent. They still has to teach, and then that employer will give them the the green card processing for a go signal. Let's just say in after 2 years or 3 years, you're still going to be stuck teaching. And we know teaching here in the US is very hard, especially with the kids. I used to teach um, kindergarten students, and it's, let's just say my experience is good, but at the same time, it's hard to really say that I love teaching here in the US because of the stress, the struggles I have. And my husband knows everything. My husband knows I'm crying most of the time at night in the bed and thinking that, do I have to do this? Do I have to teach? Do I have to teach? But now, since I have my green card, I can do whatever I want. I can work wherever. And I was able to experiment myself. I tried working in the hospital as a CNA because I wanted to pursue nursing, but I said to myself, I don't want to do that. But I tried once, and I had a license. I've been a licensed certified nursing assistant here in Florida. And I also tried sales. I also tried working with one on one with clients when it comes to like home based work. So there are things that really are helping you once you get your work permit or you get your green card. Now I am so happy because I am a state employee here in the US. Who would have thought a J1 teacher from the Philippines after 5 years could work in a state government here in Florida? So that's the perks of really getting your green card. So remember, there are forms that you have to submit, and it's not just filling out the forms, it's really putting evidences. So each one needs to have sufficient evidences. That way, you will be confident that soon you'll get your waiver. And also, don't forget to pray all the time. Look at your case number Check it every single time, and please don't post a lot in J1 Waiver Helping Hands and say, "Oh, I submitted last month in month of August. When can I get the result?" Oh, it's not that easy. You need to look at the processing time on each of the forms. Let's just say Form I-130 or Form I-612 or the DS-3035. And if you feel like, oh, it's this is taking so long, you can ask your state congressman or your state senator about that one. That way they could help you expedite the process. I used to reach out to our state senator with the help of my husband because I am not a US citizen yet. They're not going to listen to me, but they listen to my husband. And they also asked for my email address, and they said, okay, what are the things that we can help you out? Because according to Mr. Powell, which is your husband, this is what the things you need. So those are the things. Those are the things that is really helping you out. And this is the things that are really helping you to expedite when it comes to doing your processing. Again, what are the forms to submit from J1 waiver? I mean, J1 teacher to getting a green card. One is Form I-130, that's petition. It's separate, especially if you're married to your US citizen spouse. Then submit your Form I-612, DS-3035. You also have to submit your Form I-485, Form I-765, and your travel document. Now, are there any other forms? Yes, there's medical form that you have to do. I think it's the I-693. There's like taxes that you have to do, which is the I-864. There is like a supporting documents that you have to do, which is the Form I-130A. Most of them are free as well. Now, speaking of free, advisory opinion with the Department of State is free, but you have to wait for 3 to 4 months. So look at the details on how to do that one. Those are the forms that you have to submit, and be strategic. Submit on your second year and submit on your fourth year. That way you can still buy time and you're not going to worry about it. Why? Because if you submit in your first year, they're going to say, well, you just came here in the US and you got married right away. What's your purpose? So they're gonna question your purpose for that. How about in your third year? It's really hard to do that one, especially if you already posted a lot on your social media account and your visa sponsor might trace you, or some of your co J1 teachers is telling your sponsor that you got married. I've known a lot of J1 teachers, they got terminated with their J1 visa sponsor because um, their visa sponsor knew that they got married to their US citizen spouse and they don't want to help them anymore. So, better be strategic, and especially if you have your visa sponsor, the EPI, they are really adamant for you to get the extension but still pursuing to have your marriage with your US citizen spouse. Well, they cannot stop you anyway. But the only thing is the integrity of the J1 sponsor and the J1 visa program. That's what they're looking for. So, what is it with you? What is the purpose why you want to get the waiver? So, think about that weight. Think about that. So, again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you get a lot of information from here, because this channel, Powerful Couple Journey, is really here to help you when it comes to the processing from J1 visa holder with 212-year rule to getting a green card. Also, please check out powerfulcouplejourney.com, our website, for the checklist and different kinds of statement of reasons, because it's our way of sharing as well to our mountain pastors in the Philippines, which I am so happy because we're already helping 3 pastors there every month. It came from my salary, and now I'm also helping them based on the website. So thank you so much for those that are trusting that website, and please don't forget to be part of the J1 Waiver Helping Hands group through Facebook. And if you're going to be agreeing to group rules, I will accept you immediately. Thank you so much for those who are here watching this live video. We are going to post here in our channel every Monday, and that's gonna be around 12 in the afternoon. And I'm gonna doing live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and another live video every Sunday at 2 p.m. So thank you so much for being here, and don't forget, always pray, and I will be with you with your journey from J1 to getting your green card. Have a great day and God bless.